Hello folks, how are you? It's a beautiful day outside and I'm coming to you on the recent Flint water crisis. The report says that it's systematic racism, as we all know, and African Americans all over this country already knew, and more than that, we already knew what was the problem. And some have called it environmental racism. And, I'd just like to say, and I want to, now 57% of Flint's population is black, 37% are white, and only 4% are Latino and other mixed races. And an appointed civil rights commission in Michigan says systematic racism helped to cause the Flint water crisis, according to a report that was released Friday. It was a 129-page report. It doesn't claim that there were any specific violation of state civil rights laws, but says the historical, structural, and systematic racism, combined with implicit bias, played a significant role in the lingering water crisis. In other words, if the population were majority white, the problem would have been fixed immediately. And another thing is that 40% of the city's population live under the poverty level, which is astronomical. We have to understand one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Money is the problem. This is just, and it's been going on 3 years, and the problem is just beginning to be corrected, if you will. And that's ridiculous. And I'd like to also say, well, folks, I just want to ask you a question. Do you think with Governor Snyder, the governor of Michigan, do you think he would have acted differently? See, they already knew what the problem was. If the problem had been, if it was 57% of the majority of Flint was white. Of course, you know it and I know it. I'm not racist either. And I want to ask you just quickly, I'm going to combine this in. President Trump said that President Obama has done nothing for the African American community. Now they know of this problem, and you have actors and all type of people from all walks of life in African American and other communities, and the Christian church has been sending truckloads of water to Flint, Michigan. No, don't go to sleep on me, wake up. Here is the bomb. Bam. We need God in our life like never before. As the country gets further and further away from God, it's more dangerous now than it's ever been. And I told you once and I've told you before, most politicians are as full of crap as a constipated elephant. Let's see how many people march up and down the streets that black people have fresh water. You don't see that, do you? There's a lot of things we have to do for ourselves. As we're coming to a time where there's going to be some type of military confrontation, we need God like never before. Now, I'm going to say this. Obama could have done more than he did. Now, the CDC, the Congressional Black Caucus, has been making statements, and is supposed to meet with Donald Trump, President Trump, sometime soon. And they said when Obama was in the White House, they went 635 days and they couldn't even, the Congressional Black Caucus, or the CBC, couldn't even meet with him. They wouldn't even meet with him. But it took 635 days. And they have, and I will admit, President Obama did nothing for African Americans. He did everything for, a lot of things for illegal immigrants, but he did nothing for African Americans. But the problem, we're going to get back with, so Trump did lie in that respect. And no, he's not no savior. And I'll just say it, no, he isn't. But we're going to keep a close eye and watch to see what becomes of this. Overall, most of all the hundreds of people that were butchered in Chicago was never even mentioned by the previous administration, but he's bringing it up. He had said and declared that if they don't clean up Chicago, he will. Have you noticed how close Michigan is to it? Well, anyway. The lawsuit says, for the water in Flint, Michigan, and that how and why, I'm going to read this to you. Our lawsuit alleges race discrimination and how and why the predominantly African American population was exposed to contaminated river water, while the surrounding predominantly white population continued to receive clean Detroit water, Attorney Michael L. Platt said by email. And I find this in 2017 absolutely, it's amazing that man himself is not improved at all. Without God, we just sink further and further into inhumanity, self-righteousness, and this vulgar, outright stupidity. And I'm going to say this. You follow these Democratic liberals who've done more damage to the African American community than any other political group, and I'm not a Democrat or Republican. But I'll see, they're going to have a march for reparations in Washington. And see how many of these illegal immigrants march up and down, or these march up and down for you when it comes to this big march in Washington that they're putting together. See, this is what I've said this, and this has been said over and over again. What we need out of these people is reciprocity. What is reciprocity? Plain and simple, I show you love, you show me love. There's no need for you to be out there marching up and down for a group of illegal immigrants. Why don't you see how black people live in these countries where they come from? If you want to come to America, do it the right way. That's the bomb. That's what's going on. Show love. That's what reciprocity is. Love. I show you love, you show me love. This is a life and death struggle. And one thing about you are not like the illegal immigrants or any other immigrant. Your ancestors came here in the bottom of slave ships. They worked 16 hours a day, 6 and 7 days a week. That's documented in every state in the Union. 360 years of slavery and 100 years of Jim Crow. Even the schools you went to, even in the 50s and 60s, were inferior to the schools of the white America. And a lot of white Americans are standing up for this, and this is good. It's a good thing to stand up for justice the way God intended. Can you imagine? They were noticing that the kids were getting sick, elevated levels of lead in their water. How sick? They totally ignore a problem of that. You care nothing about the children. And some whites were affected too. Remember, the 37% of Flint is white. And other mixed races were 7% and under. Do you understand? They should shoot a stew out of it. Folks, this country needs to return to God. I'm going to tell you, pray for President Trump. Pray for our country, because we're making more and more enemies all over the land. People who are our allies are questioning our friendship, shall we say. Do you feel safer now? I just want to let you know, pray for our adults, our leaders, and these children, because they're the one that's going to lead us next. Can you imagine your children drinking year after year out of corroded pipes and the authorities already knew it? What would you have done? Systematic racism of any type is wrong, and God hates it. God bless you.